Good morning. Happy Monday, everybody. I am going to just share this really quick on my business page as well, just to let everybody join in. All right. Share. Hello, hello. Who is going to join me today? Sharing that on my business page so everyone can find this. So thanks for tuning in every single Monday. I think this is part 6. So for those of you that have been joining me for all of the other 5 episodes, I would love to know which episode you think is your favorite. I started this series because I've actually been in the beauty industry for going on 24 years, and I've seen it just really evolve, and it's really been changing, which everything is, I mean, obviously, right? But what I find is a lot of beauty professionals are not sort of evolving with the changes. So I have spent the last, 2 years educating. So I became a national educator, and I travel around, and I also am a salon consultant. So I work with other salons and beauty professionals. So I work with makeup artists and spas and you name it, I work with them just to help them look at their business and look at ways that I can help them bring in more revenue. And it's really different for everybody because I customize different solutions for them. And I think it just got to a point in my career where I had the knowledge. I never wanted to be an educator just because I love to learn. And so I just always thought, well, I always want to learn from everybody else. Like, what do I know to teach people? And so it sort of just happened. And I love it. I love just helping others. And the beauty industry, you can do so much with it. So if you're joining me, let me know if you're watching it live or if you are watching the replay, and let me know where you're from. I would love to know who I'm speaking to, and I know I have, I think, close to 1,000 followers and many, many friends, and that's why I'm doing it actually on my personal timeline versus my page. And if you have any beauty professionals in your life, feel free to share it, because that's the whole reason why I'm doing these videos, is just to really get the information out. I belong to a lot of professional groups here on Facebook, and so I see all of these like challenges and topics come up, and I see the frustration. So that's kind of my goal with this series, is just to help other people. So I see some of you joining me. Hi, Valerie. Hi, Lynn. Hi, everybody. Now, if you're not a beauty professional, you can still obviously attend these and watch these, because I mean, you might be able to help somebody. And I do cover things for consumers and customers as well. So hopefully you can get some kind of information out of this. So today, I actually really would like to talk about the makeup industry. And, you know, are you really capitalizing on this billion-dollar market? Because it is the largest in the world. And actually, the United States, the total revenue is estimated around $54.89 billion a year. So that industry is actually projected to grow 3 to 4% over the next 5 years in the United States. And this is actually probably a little bit of an older statistic. It's actually been growing even more rapidly, and that has to do with sales on Amazon, sales on eBay, sales on the internet. So if you can, go back, if you haven't already, and watch my first and second episode where I talk about diversion, and then I talk about the change in distribution, because for the cosmetics or even personal care brands, that's really increasing their revenue a lot, but most of them are just bypassing professionals now. So there's no longer a need for them, and so they're going right to the consumer. So do you want a piece of that pie, piece of that money? Because think of the emotional attachment that women have. And I have some more statistics. Those of you that watch me know that I'm like a numbers person. I love researching. I love numbers of things. So nearly half of women in the US feel that wearing makeup makes them in control. 82% believe wearing makeup makes them feel more confident. And I see that. I meet with so many different clients, and I'm really just like a solutionist at this point, where it's like, okay, what can we do to improve your life and just really make you feel better? 86% of women find that wearing makeup improves their self-image. And it's an immediate fix. I work with a lot of hairstylists, and when you think of hair in terms of changing the cut, changing the color, you know, those are major changes, right? And so if you cut your hair off, it takes a long time for it to grow back, right? If you change your hair to like a bright red color, it's really hard to go back to blonde, or even if you go really dark. So when we look at makeup, we can change it daily. We can, like today, I did a total spring look. I used a little bit of blue, and I used some pink, which I don't normally do. I have some pink on my lips because that's what they're showing for the season. And it makes me feel different than yesterday when I did like no makeup, because it was Sunday and I wasn't going anywhere. So it does really, it's nice to change the way that we look as well, and it changes your mood. And so we can just wash it off and start over tomorrow. If we do, and I look in the morning and we don't like it, we could just wash it off and do it again. It's not as much of a commitment as hair. And we can just create looks from day to night, and vice versa. So that's why, you know, women love makeup. So if you're in the industry, think about makeup equals confidence, all right? Encourage people to prioritize themselves. I love pampering women. I don't think that they get enough attention as far as, you know, we as women, and I know there's probably men watching too, and I'm not saying this is not men, but we take care of everybody else first. And so a lot of women that come and see me, they're just like, they don't take any time out for themselves. So I love pampering them and helping them look at themselves in that way, because they're all special and they all are amazing. All right, so it's really not always to impress people. Usually those who wear makeup know that. People who don't wear makeup think that, well, you're trying to change yourself into looking like someone else. It's really not always about that. It's just to empower ourselves, and it's about empowering other women, and that's why I love the industry so much as well. But it can also be really rewarding, okay? So what I want to talk about is a lot of makeup artists and salons that I work with, they really love doing an actual makeup service, all right? So in salons, and I'm going to talk about, because like when we look at like makeup artistry and then we look at salon industry, there's like a very broad spectrum of positions that you can have, all right? And so at one end of the spectrum, we have, well, you know what? I'm even going to talk about just like people who work for retail companies or retail accounts. Like you think of people that work in the department stores, that their job is to have a certain amount of sales with their makeup. Some of them don't always have the training of an actual makeup artist. They have the training on how to drive sales. So if you go into, you know, Bloomingdale's and you go to the makeup department, they're gonna try to get their quotas, basically. Most of them actually need a quota. And sorry about that. And so that's really one end of the spectrum. And then you have makeup artists that are more into the actual profession of makeup artistry, and their whole goal is to provide like a really good, they're really good artists. You know, they want to provide like an amazing, they pride themselves in the technique of makeup. And so they could be either working for, you know, print and commercials and things like that, or they could be more into like bridal makeup. You know, there's so many different facets that you can do, and they're all very, very different. They're all very different in the way that you do makeup. And then you also have on the other end of the spectrum, which is more the side that I have been in all my life, is the salon side of it. So a lot of salons, and this is just what I found, and I can actually say myself as well, is when I went to cosmetology school, I learned a few hours, we'll say, of makeup artistry. very, very few. In fact, you know, we learned about like basics like face shapes and eyebrow shapes and, you know, things like that, but very, very, very basic. And so, and if you think back to when I went to beauty school, that was the early 90s in Wisconsin. You know, there wasn't like just a huge, there wasn't really anywhere that I could go for makeup artistry training other than Chicago at the time. Obviously, over the years that has grown and there's more options, which I'll talk about actually next week. But the other part of that is it was really hard for us to find a makeup brand that we could carry in our salon that would either be good quality, that would move, and that we like to use on our clients for mainly bridal, right? Because we mainly did bridal services for makeup. So what I learned is that most brands, if you look at professional makeup brands, they're also on opposite sides of the spectrum. So you have the brands that are in department stores like Bloomingdale's or Macy's or whatever department store you're going to. And I'm going to name some of the brands just so that people kind of understand like what I'm talking about. You know, maybe it's MAC Cosmetics or, you know, some of those brands, right? They actually do not want salons or service type businesses to retail their products. What they will do is they will actually give a pro discount to professionals. Like if you can prove that, you know, you're a makeup artist or a cosmetologist or this or that, they will give you a pro card, which allows you to get a discount on their cosmetics. So MAC, for instance, and you know, MAC has standalone stores, so not necessarily in department stores, but just so you kind of get the drift. I don't want to name like all the brands because there's so many, so I'm just going to like say a little bit here and there. So what they do is they have where you can get 20% off of their cosmetics only, and they don't want you to retail it. They don't want you to resell it. In fact, there's usually a contract that says, we're just giving you a discount on the makeup that you can use on your clients. But then what do you think happens, right? The client's like, oh my gosh, I love that lipstick, or, you know, I love that foundation that you used, so where can I get it? Well, you have to go to the MAC store and get it because, you know, and you know what? Some people do carry a few and they sell it. They're really not supposed to, because MAC is like, hey, we're just giving you a discount so that you drive the traffic all back to us so we keep the sale, because where's their money, right? They want to continue to retail those products to make their revenue. All right, so they're already bypassing the professional. So makeup artists, that's just the way it's been. That's what they're used to. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you have the salon or spa industry. And so a lot of the makeup lines that we carried over the years, or we would look at, were made by hair care companies or hair care brands. And it was like, it always seemed like almost like a second thought. Like, okay, well, our main brand is like hair care, so now we're just gonna like come out with a makeup line just to have one, just so we can like try to capitalize on that, but that's not where our focus is. So all the products that I would use over the years, it was like, you know, they're not really that great quality. And I tried a lot. I could probably name a whole page full of brands that I have worked with. Or we would maybe like some things from this brand and other things from another brand. But we never found a brand that we were like in love with that photographed well on brides and could be for like everyday women, because it just wasn't out there. So then you can go the route where you're like, okay, there are companies out there that are actually, they're like almost like where you can brand your own. Okay, so there's different brands where it's called private label, where you can like start buying makeup and put your own label on it and brand it yourself. So the problem with that, because we actually tried that too. Girl, I've tried everything. I tell people, I'm like, I have tried everything. Okay, so that as a challenge is it's usually not that great of quality, for one. And the other thing is that you actually have to usually buy like quite a few, like for instance, like if it was this lip color, you have to buy like 6 of that lip color. So you end up having a lot of retail on the shelves, and then if it's something that people don't like, it's just gonna sit there and it's not gonna move and it's gonna expire. And you know, and the other thing is that usually people are like, well, I've never heard of that brand. Like, what is that brand? There's like absolutely no brand recognition, and so they're just like, well, they don't want it because they're like, well, why haven't I ever heard of that brand? And who has time to brand their own makeup line when they're behind the chair 80 hours a week, right? Nobody. So some other companies out there, where they have like exclusive, they tout themselves as, we're exclusive to salons and spas, right? So watch my video on diversion, because what's happening with that is, now I'm gonna name a brand just because this happened recently, and I have a lot of spas that I have talked to that have been using this brand. But Jane Iredale, that was a brand that was, you know, an exclusive to spas. So you had to go to a spa to get Jane Iredale, right? Well, now they actually they decided they're going to be in department stores. So now they decided, well, we're just going to bypass the spas that built our brand, and we're just going to go directly to the consumer, because that's the trend of all the other companies are doing, right? Why give a part of the profit to spas when we can just go directly to the consumer? And there's some other lines that haven't done that yet, but the problem with them is they usually have very large quotas. There's very large startup intros that you have to go with. And they really hold you to a high standard. Like every quarter, your sales have to be up here. So all of a sudden you become like this, you know, stressed out about losing your makeup line because your sales have to be, you know, up here. Not a lot of them offer a huge amount of training as far as, you know, trends, you know, spring and summer, fall, even just basic education, because again, their whole goal is we just want to like get our makeup in the salon, have them fill our shelves with it, and then we're out of there. No other brand that I have come across that is professional quality, we'll say, offers any of their accounts a website. Okay, so when I say a website, I'm talking about where your clients could go to a website, order the makeup or order the hair care or whatever it is that they wanted, and you would still keep the sale as a professional. So you would get the retail profit in between there. They would ship it directly to your customer. These companies all have websites, but they keep the sale. So if I used Jane Iredale on somebody and they were like, oh my gosh, I love that, and I didn't have that color, or maybe they just went home and they decided they love it, they could just go to their website, or now they could go to the department store they're in and just buy that color. So again, just another way that it's bypassing the salons. I researched a ton of makeup brands last year, and I asked all of them, you know, are you driving traffic to the salons that are promoting you? And they're like, well, no. I mean, we have a website where our customers can order it. We do have maybe an area where they can find a salon that might carry us, but if they want to order the product, they can just do it right from our website. And I was like, because, you know, me as a professional, I don't want to be behind the chair for that many hours a week. If I can capitalize on that $1 billion market, wouldn't that make sense to do that, right? But no, they're like, we just want you to promote our products, and then we want to keep the money. What I want to tell you guys is that an estimated $17.3 billion in the US was generated through online sales, beauty sales, okay? So people are buying these products online. So 75% of prestigious beauty shoppers reported that they were somewhat strongly influenced by product reviews. So if they go to a website, they see a review, and they're like, okay, yeah, I want to get that, you know, powder or whatever. Of course, they're going to buy it right away. They're not going to like run into the salon and be like, oh, you know, do you have this powder, and waste all that time. They're going to want to get it then and there. 52% reported they were somewhat strongly influenced by best of awards. So they're looking at that. They look at that in different magazines and things. So again, if you have a private label line that you're trying to promote, you know, those are some of the things you're going to look at. And if there's no branding there, you know, it's just really hard to retail in my experience. And I know there's other pros on here. And right now, I cannot see any of your comments, so I'm going to have to look at them later. For some reason, it does that to me once in a while. And then celebrity endorsements had a lesser effect now. So when I teach this in my class, I talk about this where, you know, if we're watching TV, or if we're seeing an ad in the magazine and it's a celebrity saying that they color their hair or they use like this cheap mascara or whatever, we're like, yeah, right. I mean, like, we know that you're not at home coloring your hair, and you're not going to Walgreens buying this, you know, mascara that costs $2. People are like, they're used to that now, and they're like, come on, we know that you're getting paid to promote that product and you're not necessarily using that. So what I've found is meeting with all the women, and I've met with hundreds of women over the last couple years with makeup lessons or just sessions where I'm like trying to find out, like, okay, what can we do to, you know, improve whatever it is, and it's different for everyone. And all of them, they want somebody to recommend to them what it is they should use. They're tired of just like going to the store and looking at the shelves and being like, or going online and being like, okay, what should I get? They want a professional or somebody who's educated in different things. They want somebody to recommend what they should use. So again, wouldn't it make sense to have something that you can recommend that you're like, hey, guess what? You know what? If you love this lip color, what I'll do is I'll just go on my website and I will just have it sent right to you. And then next time you want it, you can actually log in and order it yourself. So I know some of you have been watching my videos and you know that we actually just launched a brand new advanced 4-day curriculum for salon professionals, or even people that want to work with salon professionals, because we're looking for people that can do this, because we have so many people reaching out to us that they're like, okay, we know that we need to do something different in our salon and spa. We heard that you guys are doing this, like, can you help us? So we actually can teach and train people how to be, you know, salon consultants and go into the salon. And I'm just looking at them like, oh my gosh, it's like, I don't know where that's coming from, but and help them just implement different programs that are going to bring in revenue. And why I'm really excited about it is because, like, I've seen it, this whole like gap in the industry. I've seen that there's like such a broad spectrum of things, and so we've really worked hard on bridging that gap and making it all about the professionals, right? Because obviously there's nothing else out there that's going to provide them with that. And trust me, I've done the research, I've looked. So some of the things that I offer for the salons that I work with, as far as from a makeup standpoint and even some hair care standpoint, is the company that I work with offers these products at affordable pricing but very professional quality. So like I said before, it was always hard for us, and that's why I've devoted myself to educating people this and helping them with this, is because I've found this and it really changed things for us in our salon. But we actually offer very high quality with great pricing, because we don't actually have to advertise and do all of that. We also give all of the accounts that we work with their own website. Okay, so it's like the technology of the website is absolutely amazing. You get your own URL. You can send your customers right to the website. Once they create a customer account, like they would really on any shopping website or anything out there, that is your customer. So every time they go, you know, to try to purchase cosmetics or hair care, whatever it is that they need, it's going to be like, okay, log in, and like, so I have my own website, and then my website's going to pop up, and it's going to be, I'm going to keep the sale. So whatever it is that they order, I'm going to get a certain percentage back in retail profit. So very, very valuable thing to have. It's open 24/7. It actually has all different things like skincare analysis and get the look with different tutorials on there, and how to color correct, and how to get the right match. If they're using a different foundation from a different company, what could they use from this line that would match really well for them? And just the shopping part of it, they actually have like a live Instagram feed of different people using the products. They have, it's just probably well, it is, I shouldn't say probably, it is the best website that I have ever seen out there as far as retailing cosmetics and beauty care products. So that in itself is worth probably millions of dollars. And if you try to create this type of website, good luck, because it's beautifully done. They're constantly updating it. They're constantly coming out with, you know, like right now it's what's trending for spring and summer 2018. So I don't have to do that. And as a salon owner or just a busy professional, like, who has time to constantly update their website? I actually tried doing that at one time, and you know, unfortunately it's really hard. The makeup line that I promote is actually Motives by Lauren Reininger, and she is actually one of the most she was actually named one of Vogue's top 100 most influential women. She has a ton of, she's been recognized by fashion groups. She's been named Entrepreneur of the Year 3 years in a row by Business Leader magazine. She has a personal blog, lawrencewworld.com, which is one of Forbes' top 100 websites for women. She's been named one of the 50 most motivational people on the web. So she is the creator of this whole brand, and people are starting to recognize it because they're seeing it all over Instagram. They're seeing it in all of the magazines, because even though we're not paying for that advertising, they're picking it up because we're one of the fastest growing brands out there. But we're exclusive, so you can't find us in the stores. You can't just go to, you know, Ulta or Sephora and get it. So usually when I talk with people, they're like, yes, I've heard of the brand, but I have never seen it anywhere. That's why, okay? Because you either you have to know somebody that has their website or a salon or spa that we work with to get it. So what I love that about it. It's obviously kind of a game changer for most people. The next thing I want to just touch on is we have a customizable makeup system where we can make anything. I do like foundations, either liquid, powder, or cream. We can match the customer's skin tone perfectly. We can control the coverage, the finish, the texture. We could put different skin treatments in. Totally customizable. And so 99% of the women that come to me, they have never found a foundation they like. I can provide that for them, and they're never stuck with it because I can always tweak the color. I can either, you know, darken it in the summer when they get a tan or whatever it is, or we can just create a summer formula where maybe it's for more oily skin, and then a winter formula that's more for dry skin. Is totally customizable. We can also do blushes, bronzers, eyeshadows, brow pomades, lips. You know, so if you see that, all those videos where people are making that stuff, we do that with our company. And what's great is it's like a 200 to 300% profit margin, and they can't get it anywhere else. They have to come back to you and have you mix it up. So we have a complete educational system where we teach people how to do this. So you're not stuck with just, you know, buying this huge intro kit or whatever it is, and then we're like, okay, see ya, bye. In fact, our education and training is a national training system. In fact, it's all over the world in many different countries, and I have never witnessed a training system like it. And I'm not just being biased because I am a national trainer. Like, it is so systemized. It's almost set up like an actual franchise where it's like, the same training that I'm going to be doing this weekend here, someone else could be doing the same exact training somewhere else. Of course, we all put our personal flair on it, but we have not only retail trainings, but also how to market products, how to, we have different application trainings, we have different business trainings, which is a huge one. That was something that I felt was lacking as well. On top of the application training was actually how to be a salon owner or how to run a business. I'm just really self-taught. So now I'm teaching people how to do that as well. And then you get obviously training and coaching by experienced people like myself, because I've been there. I used to own a salon. I sold it now just so I can have more free time and help other people, but I know what it's like. I've been there. We also have a customer rewards program. So if your customers go to your website and order whatever it is that they want, they actually get 2%, around 2% cash back on all of their purchases, just to reward them. So you don't have to come up with this crazy rewards program, because I've been there, done that as well, right? And then they can either use that to purchase more products, or once it reaches $10, they can just request a check and it's actually directly deposited now into their account, and they can just use that on whatever it is that they want. If they want to come into your salon, get their hair done with it, they can do that. It's just free money for them. And it's just to incentivize them to come back to your website so that you don't have to carry this large inventory worth of products that's going to sit on the shelves and just expire, because that is money down the drain. And sometimes you don't know. Sometimes you don't know what's really going to be what people want, right? And so doesn't it make sense that if you are doing a session with them, I normally have people come and I'll do a session, and usually between skincare and makeup, they're probably going to purchase around $150 to $200, because they're like, oh my gosh, it feels amazing. I can't believe the price on this. I want this, 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 and this. And they have somebody like me to help them with that, right? Well, I can just be like, okay, I'm going to have it all sent to you. It'll come within usually about 5 days, 4 days, whatever it is that it depends where you live. And they're just like, okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. I can't wait to get everything, so I don't have to carry this large inventory. And being in the business side of things, if your capital is tied up in all of your retail, that's not good, because then you don't have the capital to buy all the things that you really need to have your business run, to keep the lights on, to keep it heated, to pay for, your receptionist or your support staff, or, I could go on and on and on. Back bar products, color, chemicals, you name it, cleaning person, whatever it is. So there are different programs that we have, again, because everything's really customizable. So we have everything from a pro artist program all the way up to working with pro accounts with salons. And so we can just really take a look at what's going on and be like, okay, what is the perfect program for this scenario? Or what are your goals? And, let's look at what we can do and improve on. So it doesn't matter what your goals are. We can usually find something, and it's not always with makeup. It's not always with hair care. It could be one of the other divisions I work with, and there's about 10 other billion-dollar divisions that, we have. So it's not always product driven, but makeup is the thing that I see most salons struggle with. Either they don't even carry makeup at this point, because they're it never sold before, and so we just got rid of it, or we have makeup and it sits there. 98% of the people that I talk with, that's what's going on for them. And if you've watched all of my different, sessions, and let's see what time it is. Yeah, I'm coming up on my time here. If you've watched my other sessions, you know that salons have to become this one-stop shop where they can come in and be like, okay, I want my hair done, but everything's got to be quick and easy. And a lot of salons are like, yeah, I know I need a makeup line where it can be for these everyday people coming in, where I can do these touch-ups before they leave and go out the door, or I can do, bridal makeup, or even maybe they want to dabble in fashion shoots and things like that. So this line kind of covers all of that. And The other thing is that I wanted to talk about is trends. So next week, I'm going to actually go over, and now I'm not talking about like makeup trends. I'm talking about like trends with the marketplace as far as the creation of like YouTubers, we're going to call them, or Instagram artists. Because a lot of professionals, again, that I see are like, oh my gosh, like these people that just started this YouTube channel that are doing makeup and like promoting all these different brands, they're not even makeup artists, you know, they're not even like trained. But I'm going to actually talk about next week why companies are actually using them to increase their sales. And that's a huge trend. So I have some statistics for that, and I'm going to talk about that. But let me know what you guys are loving, and let me know if you have any questions about anything I'm covering. You can always email me. I do free consultations with all the different, you know, whether you're a salon, spa, makeup artist, you know, whatever it is, what I can do is just ask you some questions and come back with a complete proposal about what we can do for you. And so you're not stuck with, you know, paying for anything like that. Like that's just something how we have, because most salons don't have all this extra money sitting aside where they're like, you know, they can pay somebody to do that. So I hope that, you know, I got it all in. I'm trying to like keep these around a half hour just because I know that it's a lot, you know, and I can talk every week and keep going. So let me know what you like. Let me know what you're looking forward to seeing, and if there's anything you want me to cover, and if you have any questions. And have a wonderful day. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you next Monday. Bye.